Hello fun people, I'm Isaac Carlson and I'm focused on spreading magic by discussing Disney DreamWorks and animation. And today I want to understand the reason Master Oogway died. Why was it when it seemed like Shifu, the Dragon Warrior and Valley of Peace needed him the most did he transcend to the spirit realm? And of course, if you're new here and you'd like to join this community of Oogway prodigies, then consider subscribing. And if you enjoy what I'm creating here and want the audio version of these episodes along with many interviews featuring animators, directors, and other YouTubers, consider checking out my podcast Wotso Radio, which will be linked down below. Master Oogway discovered Kung Fu, established the Valley of Peace, founded the Jade Palace, and was a hero across China.
Oh, Master Oogway! He was a great warrior. We've heard of Master Oogway.
Okay.
But while he had solidified his legacy as an enlightened, clever, and powerful master, he also was aware that he could not exist as a mortal being forever. Right away, I think it's important to point out that Master Oogway knew that he was running out of time at the beginning of Kung Fu Panda. He acknowledges that idea to Shifu when they prepare for Oogway to choose the Dragon Warrior, and that makes it seem like he was waiting for something to happen.
It is an historic day, isn't it, Master Oogway?
Yes, and one I feared I would not live to see.
Nonetheless, Oogway doesn't alter his behavior at all. He doesn't fear the natural progression of his life completing and remains patient through all of his tasks. Oogway comforts Po, Shifu, and anyone else who needs his words, but continues to move forward until his life was no longer needed. While death was likely not an easy concept to overcome, at this point in Oogway's life, he'd embraced the inevitability of it all and had achieved inner peace. I've seen some wild ideas saying that maybe Oogway planned for Tai Lung to test Shifu and Po, but I think that goes against everything we know about the tortoise. Oogway understood there needed to be a time where he would let go of the world, which meant he had to leave behind the animals who had depended on him. But that didn't mean that he was going to purposefully make them suffer to force them to grow. He was allowing the world to continue to play out as it needed to. But even though that time, of course, comes for everyone, that doesn't make it any easier to experience for all who care for them. Every time I witness Master Oogway passing on to the spirit realm in Kung Fu Panda, I always feel heartbroken, mystified, and torn by the moment. It's so tragic to see Shifu so demoralized by his master leaving him, and it's hard to see such a wise, respected, funny, and compassionate leader who we grew to love appearing to die before our eyes, especially with Tai Lung on the way. Danger was still coming. His pupils still wanted him there. The citizens of his home continued to put their faith in him. I mean, Po didn't have a clue as to what was going to happen to him, especially since Oogway seemed to be the only one who believed in him. But I also think Oogway wasn't going to die out of nowhere or just because some petals were hitting him. One of my favorite Kung Fu Panda characters, I believe, is much more intentional than that. He knew his time in the mortal world was about to be over, and I think that he internalized that because he was aware of his purpose. Was he meant to protect the Valley of Peace indefinitely? No. Was he supposed to train every Kung Fu student? No. Was Oogway supposed to survive forever to defeat every evil pupil, spirit, or demon? No, of course not. He was just one tortoise who we of course wanted to remain in the world to guide all of our favorite characters, but of course everyone must move forward on their own at some point, and that happened to Oogway, Po, and Shifu when the Dragon Warrior was chosen. 1,000 years before the Dragon Warrior ceremony, Oogway foretold of a legendary prodigy who would be granted limitless power after mastering Kung Fu and reading the secrets within the Dragon Scroll. Once that master discovered the ability to believe in themselves, they would be a truly unstoppable force in the world. Long after that legend was created, Oogway had a vision which foretold of Tai Lung's return, leading to him deciding that the time had finally come to discover the Dragon Warrior. And of course, when Po smacked down in front of Oogway, the master saw within Po the future and past of Kung Fu, who could unite them both.
Both sides of the yin and yang, and my true successor.
Those little firework antics all worked out because Oogway believed there were no accidents. Once Master Oogway had discovered Po to be the Dragon Warrior, his successor had been established, and this was what he was waiting for. Hundreds of years of waiting was finally paying off because Oogway knew when he looked at Po that Kung Fu was going to continue to bring peace to the world. With the fate of Kung Fu left to the right Panda, all that was left was to ensure that Shifu would be willing to believe in the Dragon Warrior. While I'm sure Oogway understood this would be a struggle for Shifu to accomplish, he also likely grasped that Shifu had the ability to open himself up again and do what was right. So after communicating these wishes to Shifu, Oogway understood that his time to pass had finally come because he had completed his purpose. Sure, maybe Oogway could have remained. I'm sure he could have taken down Tai Lung and Lord Shen, but his true mission had been completed. Master Oogway had established a noble art form focused on spirituality and bringing peace that grew to become a pillar of the stability for China, and that would live on after him. So with that in mind, Oogway allowed himself to ascend to the spirit realm. After giving Shifu his staff that was made from the peach tree's bark, which was said to be able to ward off evil, with an open heart, Oogway allowed the peach petals to surround him, which according to Chinese culture represents his longevity, renewal, and immortality. Even with Shifu's begging to stay, Oogway allows himself to let go of the mortal world and fades up into the stars, showing his soul and his chi had been transported to the spirit realm. Finally, Master Oogway had accomplished everything he could in his mortal life and had been brought to another realm to live out his existence. But let me know down below what your thoughts and theories are surrounding the death of Master Oogway. Also, make sure to subscribe and click the beautiful bell, and then click on another magical video in the description or on the screen. Thanks to everyone who's supporting me over on Patreon. And finally, as always, thanks for watching and have a magical day.